Hi guys, it's Melanie here from Mango Paint. Just making a quick video tutorial today to show you, talk to you a bit about our tabletop finish, where we use it, why we use it, how we apply it. Let's get started. So, what is tabletop finish? So first of all, we have, you already know about our Mango Paint line, a beautiful chalk-based paint that is super playable, lets you get that perfect finish, that incredibly smooth finish, and then you're going to seal it with your finishing product of choice. We have our beeswax finishes and we have our tabletop finish. I made another video recently with our beeswax finishes, so go check that out if you're interested in that. Alternatively, we have our tabletop finish. The reason that you would use tabletop finish is for your tabletops. It's called tabletop finish because it is our most durable finish. It's a clear-based poly. It goes on beautifully. We have rave reviews from this from customers. They're loving it for all of their projects. And it's going to give you a really durable finish on your painted projects. Can you see can you see these tables here? Yeah. So all these tables here, what we like to do a lot of times with our tabletop finish is we'll apply the tabletop finish to the top of the table, just here, and we'll beeswax the rest. The reason for that is beeswax is hands down foolproof. You cannot mess it up. It is the most easiest thing to apply. And then the tabletop finish is going to give you the most durable finish where you have more traffic on your piece. So if you're doing a desk or a dining room table or a shelf that gets a lot of use, you're going to want to use your tabletop finish on the top, and then you're good to go with beeswax on the rest of the project. That's our recommendation. That's how we do most of our projects. The tabletop finish comes in two different sheens. We have our satin, sorry I couldn't see which was which. We have our satin here, which of course gives you just a very nice subtle satin sheen to your finish, and then we have our flat, which completely mimics our beeswax finish. It is like a dead flat finish, doesn't have any really reflection value to it at all. Both are incredible to use. The satin finish is more of a clear consistency when you open it. The flat finish has a bit of a milky consistency when you open it, and can be a little bit daunting. So I'm going to open this one to show you. It's also one of our favorites to use. The flat gets, I think, the most traffic in our shop. Again, it also comes in two different sizes. So just like our paint, we have a half pint size and we have a quart size. So half pint is great for most projects because, like I said, you're just doing it on the top of your project. The quarts are great if you're painting, say you're doing a set of dining chairs that don't have upholstered seats. We would recommend using the tabletop finish on the entire chair. So if you're doing 6 to 8 chairs, the big quart's going to definitely get you that done, and probably also the dining tabletop. So let me open this using our cute little Mango Paint can opener. I'm going to open up this little guy here. This is the flat. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like super milky looking in here. Don't be alarmed, it's going to dry clear. Again, just like with our paints, you want to make sure that you give any of your containers a really good stir when you first open. So I have a nice clean Mango Paint stir stick here, and I'm going to give this a really good gentle stir. With the tabletop finishes especially, you're going to want to stir instead of shaking, because shaking the can is going to put tiny little bubbles, air bubbles into your finish, and we don't want that. We want a nice smooth finish without any air bubbles. So I'm just going to give this a quick little stir. And there are a couple different ways that we can apply it. I'm going to pour some of this into this paint tray here. I like to pour my finish into another container rather than working out of my can, because I don't want to contaminate what's going on in my finish can as well. I also like to take a brush and clean out the ridge of the can. So making sure that this ridge of your container is nice and clean and dry before applying the lid is going to make sure that this stays in tip-top shape for you for your next project. So I've got a little bit poured into here. Now you can super see it's milky, right? Oh, okay, don't be scared. So we have a couple different ways we can apply it. We can apply the tabletop finish using one of our super smooth brushes. So we do have the super smooth brushes. They come in 3 different sizes. They come in a 2-inch size, a 3-inch size, and a 4-inch size. So depending on the size of your project, that will dictate which size brush you want to use. Our 2-inch brushes are go-to for painting. Typically, actually, our 3-inch brushes are go-to for applying tabletop finish. And if we're doing a really big surface, the 4-inch brush is great for that. The 4-inch brush is also great for if you're doing like blending techniques or some certain specialty painting, we like to use the 4-inch brush for that. So we have lots of options. So I have 2 different boards here. I have one painted in Melena, and it's been lightly distressed overall using one of our fine sanding sponges. And then I also have a board here in Lillian, which has also been lightly distressed overall, again using a fine sanding sponge. Whether I'm distressing or not, I would give my piece a nice light sand before I apply a finish, because right now this feels incredibly soft, and that's what we want our furniture to feel like. Because when you paint your furniture and your friends come over and you're like, oh, look what I just painted, they are going to feel it. They're gonna go, oh, did you? And you want them to be like, oh my gosh, this feels incredible. You don't want them to be like, oh yeah, it feels like it's painted, right? So a light little sand before you put on your finish really gets you that professional result. And mango paint is perfect for smoothing out and getting that really soft finish. It's what it's made for. So we have 2 pieces here. The color on these has faded because the color fades as we sand it, but you'll see the color come right back as I start to apply this finish. So I'm gonna use our 3-inch brush here to apply the flat finish to this board painted in Melena. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'll come a little closer. So the finish, poly finishes in any kind of poly finish is always going to dry really quickly. So you don't have a lot of play time when you're applying them. So I want to make sure I have a good amount on my brush, but not enough that it's going to be dripping. And I'm just going to do a really quick coat here. I can go back and forth a couple times, but I don't want to go back and forth too many times. I just kind of want to get it on there and then let it go. I hope you can see this. So we're going to let this dry, and this is going to dry completely clear. We're going to do a couple coats usually of our finish. Once we have a coat on, once it's fully dry, we will give a light sand in between, and then we'll apply additional coats after that. That's how you go with a brush, super easy. You can also apply with a t-shirt rag. So what we like to do with a t-shirt rag, this again is just an old t-shirt rag. If you've recently cut the rag or ripped it, I always like to give it a good shake out or even throw it in the vacuum just to get any little dust particles off, because you don't want those going onto your piece. And then what you're going to do is roll it up so that you have a nice smooth finish. So I'm just going to kind of roll these ends in, and then I'm going to roll it up kind of like a hot dog. I don't know why I said hot dog, but I did. So you're going to roll it up like that. So see, I don't have any wrinkles on this. I've got a nice smooth surface. I hope that's visible on there. So a nice smooth surface to apply your finish. You can, if you want, if you're doing a big surface and you want the finish to be open for a little bit longer, like play a little bit longer, you can use a damp rag. So to do that, I would get this rag wet, I would wring out any of the wetness, and then I would roll it up. So it's not like dripping wet, it's just a bit damp. And then what you're going to do is dunk this into your tabletop finish. Wipe off any excess, I'm going the wrong way. Wipe off any excess, and then you're just going to apply, similar to how we did with the brush, just using nice long strokes. And again, the flat looks a little scary as you're putting it on, but it will dry clear. So nice thin coats are better than thick coats. So if you miss any areas in your first, you can see the color also came back quite quickly, right? Nice and dark. Nice thin coats are going to give you a better result than multiple thick coats. So we're going to let these dry for a little bit, and then we would give them a nice light sand, and we would apply another coat. I hope that's helpful.